remember the first time I noticed him. Last row, corner seat, faded blue notebook. He never looked up. That's probably why I couldn't look away. Everyone wanted to sit next to me. I let them. But my eyes, they always found their way to the back of the room, to the boy who didn't want to be found. He chewed his pen when he was stuck, scrunched his nose, ran his hand through his hair. He had no idea anyone was watching. That was his magic. He was real. Kabir slipped me another love letter today, handwritten, perfumed, perfect. I read it, I crumpled it, and I thought of a boy who never even said hello. I pretended to forget my notebook just to stay behind after class. He asked the professor a question about derivatives. His voice was soft, unsure. I wanted to tell him he was smarter than he thought. I didn't. He ate alone by the window. My friends laughed. I laughed too. But inside, I was jealous. He didn't need an audience. I didn't know how to live without one. I saw the tear in his shirt the third week. Small, near the collar. The next day, I left a gift card on his desk. Anonymous. He never used it. I checked. They announced group projects. I prayed silently. Actually prayed. To be with him. I wasn't. He got the quiet kids. I got the loud ones. I hated the universe that day. He failed the midterm. I saw his face when he got the paper back. Jaw tight, eyes empty. I wanted to walk over and say, "It's just one test." But I was scared, so I sat still, like a coward. I found his ID card on the floor. I held it longer than I should have, touched his photo, his serious eyes. Then I returned it. He said thanks. 2 words. I kept them in my chest for a week. It was raining. I was by the library window. He shared his umbrella with a stray cat. A cat. I almost ran outside, almost told him he was the kindest person I'd ever seen. But I didn't. I just watched. Like always. Kabir asked me out in front of everyone. I said no. My friends were shocked. I wasn't. Because when I looked across the courtyard, he wasn't even there. He never was. And somehow, that made me want him more. I found out he tutored high school kids at night, worked until dawn, came to class exhausted, and still, he never complained. I wanted to give him my notes, my time, my everything, but I said nothing. One night, I saw him take a call outside the hostel. His face went pale. He walked away without a word. I should have followed. I should have asked if he was okay. I didn't. I'll never forgive myself for that. I lay in bed that night, stared at the ceiling, and I whispered something I'd never said out loud. Why can't I stop thinking about the boy who never looks at me? I didn't know then, but I was already in love with him. Monday morning, his seat was empty. I told myself he was sick. Tuesday, still empty. Wednesday, Thursday. By Friday, I couldn't breathe. I walked to the professor's desk. My hands were shaking. "Where's Rayyan?" I asked. He shrugged. "Withdrew. Family emergency." Family emergency. 3 words. They destroyed me. I searched everywhere. Library, cafeteria, hostel, parking lot, the bench where he used to sit alone. Nothing. No note, no goodbye, no trace. It was like he never existed. I asked his name in the group chat. Silence. Then someone said, "Who? Who?" He sat 3 rows behind us for 2 years, and no one remembered his name. I wanted to scream. I found his library book on the return shelf. He never checked it back in. I borrowed it that day. I still have it. I've read it 12 times, just to feel close to him. I sat on my bed that night, and I cried. Not because he was handsome, not because he was mysterious, because he was kind. And I never even said hello. I never even tried. I whispered to the dark, "If you ever come back, I won't stay silent." But I didn't know if he ever would. And that was the worst part, the not knowing. 2 years passed. I graduated, got a job, dated, smiled for photos. But every time I saw a boy in a faded shirt, my heart stopped for half a second, just in case it was him. I wore a floral dress under my gown. My mother cried. My father hugged me, and I looked into the crowd for a face that wasn't there. He never saw me graduate. That broke something in me. I got a marketing job at a top firm. Everyone said I was lucky. I smiled. I nodded. But I ate lunch alone, thinking of a boy who ate alone too. Maybe we could have eaten together. Maybe. I dated Michael. Nice guy. Good job. Kind eyes. But one night he asked me why I always seemed sad. I couldn't tell him the truth. I'm waiting for someone I never spoke to. Sounded insane. So I just said, "I'm tired." I still have his ID card photo on my phone. I look at it sometimes, late at night, when no one can see. His serious eyes, his faded collar. I trace his face with my thumb and wonder where he is. I drove past the university last week. The lights were on in our old lecture hall. I parked the car, watched students walk in and out. I didn't go inside. I couldn't. It felt like visiting a grave. My mother asked me last month, "Why aren't you married yet?" I said I was focused on my career. She sighed. I excused myself, cried in the bathroom, because the real answer was too heavy to say aloud. I dreamed about him last night. He was sitting in the last row, corner seat, faded blue notebook. He looked up at me, smiled, and said, "I'm still here." I woke up crying. A reunion invitation appeared on my phone. Old batch, beachside resort. I scrolled the guest list, held my breath. His name wasn't there. I almost deleted it. But something stopped me. Something stupid. Hope. It's 2 a.m., the night before the reunion. I'm lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, just like I did in university. And I whisper the same words. Why can't I stop thinking about the boy who never looked at me? But this time, I add, please be there. Please. I tried on 4 dresses, threw them all on the bed, finally chose a simple blue one, not to impress, because I stopped trying to impress anyone years ago. But my hands were still shaking. I almost turned back 3 times. 3 times. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. He won't be there, I told myself, but I kept driving. The resort was beautiful. Music, lights, old faces. Everyone hugged me, asked about my job, my life. I smiled, I answered, but my eyes never stopped searching. I scanned every face, every corner, every bench, the lawn, the bar, the beach. Nothing. No last row. No faded shirt. No quiet boy. My chest started to cave in. And then I saw him, standing by the shore, away from everyone, alone, just like always. Taller, broader, tired eyes. But it was him. Rayyan. My Rayyan. I spilled my drink. My friend Hannah asked if I was okay. I couldn't answer. I couldn't breathe. He was real. He was there. After 5 years. He was standing on the sand like a ghost I'd begged to see. I don't remember walking, but suddenly I was moving. Across the lawn, past the laughter, past the music, toward the boy who never knew I existed. Or maybe he always did. We stood 3 feet apart. The ocean was loud, but I heard my own heartbeat more. He looked at me, really looked, and I forgot every word I'd practiced for 5 years. I opened my mouth. You left. That's what came out. Not, I missed you. Not, I love you. Just, you left. Because that's what hurt most. He didn't even say goodbye. He said, I had to. 2 words. Simple. Final. I wanted to be angry, but his eyes were so tired. So I just whispered, you could have said goodbye. He said, I couldn't. Because if I'd seen your face, I would have stayed. And staying would have broken my family. And just like that, I forgave him. Completely. We sat on the sand, side by side, not touching. He told me about his father, the warehouse, the night shifts, the tin full of coins. I told him about searching, about crying, about the library book I still kept. He said, I wrote you a letter. Never mailed it. I laughed, cried, both. I saved a seat next to me for 2 years, just in case. He looked at me then, really looked, and I saw everything I'd been waiting for. I took his hand. It was rough, calloused, scarred from work. I didn't let go. He looked down at our fingers tangled together. I have nothing to offer, he said. I said, you're here. That's everything. He said, I used to think you were a star I couldn't reach. I said, and I used to think you were a wall I couldn't break. We laughed. Real laughter. The kind that comes after years of silence. We walked to the pier as the sun rose. No one else was awake. I leaned my head on his shoulder. He didn't move away. For the first time in 5 years, I wasn't searching for anything. I lifted my head, looked at his profile against the orange sky, and I finally said it. Rayyan, I've loved you since the last row, since the torn collar, since the stray cat, since the day you never looked at me. I love you. He turned, smiled, and said, I know. I've loved you longer. 6 months later, he opened a coffee shop. He named it The Quiet Corner. I sit in the last booth now, watching him make coffee behind the counter. He looks up, catches my eye, smiles, and I don't have to search anymore. Because the boy who never looked at me, he never looks away now. So that's our story. 2 years of silence, 5 years apart. And now, a lifetime of coffee cups and corner booths. He still sits in the last row sometimes. Old habits. But now I sit next to him. If you liked our story, please like, share, and subscribe to Flipbook Wisdom. And if you want to hear Rayyan's side, the warehouse nights, the tuition tin, the letter he never sent, you can find the link in the description. Because every love story has 2 voices. This was mine. Now go find yours.